Greg, it's been a whirlwind week, I imagine, not just for yourself, but for the rest of the boys in the changing room as well. So first things first, how's everything sort of been going since obviously the management departure on Monday?
Yeah, so obviously the rumours were rife over the last weekend, and then obviously we got the message that Rob and Louis Sweens were all saying bye on the Monday, so they took the session. So the boys had like one last hurrah basically with them. But thankfully I think we had the game on Tuesday, which has really helped put all the boys like minds to rest, and just help for at least that night anyways, help them forget what the situation that we're actually in. So the game has helped, and obviously we gave the lads Wednesday, Thursday off, so they've had the time to collect their thoughts. So yeah, then back in today, which is Friday, and we've had a good session there where the boys have got a good bit of detail in, and just their normal prep for the game tomorrow. So yeah, the boys are looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned a little bit on the training side of things there. Of course, yourself and Butts taking things temporarily at the moment, with obviously Clarkey around on match days to take things then. But how has it, I suppose, been in terms of from your point of view on the training side of things? Because obviously you're not from a coaching background, or Butts obviously does a bit over at Leeds. But how's that been for you at the minute?
Yeah, it's like a strange predicament, but we just jumped head first into the deep end pretty much. Butts is at Leeds doing a bit with under 15s, so he's had a bit of experience there. Obviously Clarkey's been gaffer before, interim as well, which I happen to play under him, so I do kind of know how he works. And then obviously me, Luke Clark, haven't had much experience in coaching, but I've kind of in the last year wanted to put my foot in and see how it goes, and I think that's one path I'd like to follow. And it's just come at a good time in my recovery as well, where I've got quite a bit of free time, so it's nice to be out the house and around the lads again.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it in terms of your recovery there. I mean, touched on that. I don't think they have actually spoken to you officially on camera since then. So how is the sort of rehab recovery process going? Obviously, you've still got the boot on at the moment as well.
Yeah, it's fairly slow progress. Nothing's really changed since I did it. It's just basically a matter of time for the fracture to heal. A couple of weeks ago when I had the X-ray, it still hadn't fully healed, so we're just waiting on that. I've got another X-ray in a couple of weeks' time, and if that goes to plan and it comes back all well and good, then hopefully I'll be out the boot and off the crutches. But until that point, for now, just persevering with the boot, and hopefully the time is the best healer.
And you mentioned the coaching side of things in terms of yourself getting into it. Obviously now, I suppose, enforced in that sense. But I think in an interview a long time ago, you mentioned that coaching wasn't probably something back then that you'd thought you might get into. So I suppose what has changed from your point of view since then?
Yeah, up until maybe the last year, I've never really fancied myself as a coach. I don't know if I'd enjoy it as much. But I think now I'm 28, it must have just dawned on me that there isn't much time left. Hopefully I've got another at least 10 years if I'm lucky. But I think just trying to prepare now, and you kind of have to have the future in mind at some point. And I've actually surprisingly enjoyed myself. These have only been 4 days, but the pressure that comes with it and to get everything right for the boys is something that I've quite enjoyed. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and looking ahead to the weekend in terms of course, being the first game under interim management with Clarkey taking charge. He mentioned after Tuesday, well, first league game I should say, but he mentioned after Tuesday in terms of obviously the players are the ones who've put in the performances that have got the club to the league position it's in at the minute. So I suppose what has kind of the message really been around the changing room since then?
Yeah, kind of the same thing. Obviously Rob, Louis and Sweens did such a good job, but that was also down to us on the pitch. Nothing's really changed apart from just keeping that momentum and keeping our focus on the next game, and we've kind of put the responsibility on the other lads as well. We're all adults and we're all part of the same group, so we just need to help each other out and take responsibility and accountability for our own actions. And if that can happen on the pitch, then nothing will change, and hopefully we'll continue this good form, and another win would be lovely.
Yeah, and you mentioned the good form, of course, of recent times. I suppose with the management departure and everything going on in terms of off-field things, it's probably easy to forget that things have been going well on the pitch, going into a home game tomorrow where obviously you'll be looking as ever to try and get maximum points.
Yeah, literally apart from 2 games within a week, we were unbeaten, and that would still be the case if those 2 games hadn't gone the way they did. And coming back off the back of 2 very good wins, obviously Boston straight after the 2 defeats is probably more of a better result than Southend was. But again, to go down to Southend and beat them the way we did, I think was very impressive, and we wanted to build on that, and that's something that the players have done themselves.
In terms of tomorrow, of course, team-wise, with management departure, obviously means that Louis going means you've lost a centre-back as well, although Jean, just coming back off the back of his concussion now, I suppose works out well timing-wise. But how are things looking? How are the boys sort of faring ahead of them?
Yeah, it's, the boys sound pretty good, if you can hear that in the background. Look, football happens, and this is like the way it goes. People come and go. I think over the 7 years, must have seen at least 100 come and go. So, look, it happens, and we're just trying to get the boys focused onto tomorrow's game, and just going back to losing Louis. Obviously, he was such a good player and a leader on the pitch as well. So we're going to have to try and fill that void. But Dan Jones came in. We've got Brandon coming back from injury, and John from his concussion. So. Ben's obviously flying, and Tinks, so as defensive options go, we've got some of the best in the league.
As well, with it being a home game, of course, gives the supporters the chance to show their support for yous in the interim while things are transitioning. How important is that going to be for not just yourselves, but obviously for the lads on the pitch as well?
Yeah, the backing of the fans remains the same. I think it's no surprise that they still turn out, and obviously with the form we're in, we'd like to get a few more in, and obviously support me, and obviously the interim staff. The players need it as well. Just that little extra edge will be beneficial when it comes to games. So yeah, any support would be amazing.